Hello, hello. I think it's time for me to talk about Zhongli, my first impressions and my thoughts on him overall. So, I guess I'll be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well then, so I'm gonna get away with the easy part, which is the good part. And before I do that, I'm just gonna say this, guys. Just play whichever character you like in any team, especially when you're on free roaming. You can play whatever you want as long as you're having fun. That's what matters for this game. But if you're the type of person who's just want to know right away whether the Zhongli is good or not, and whether he's a meta character or not, I'm just gonna say this for those who are just here for Zhongli is not a meta character. I will not pull on him unless Melee is the kind of company that does buff characters, but I do not have much knowledge on that. So, I'm just gonna say for safety, do not pull up a banner on this character. Do not summon for him at all. Save your gems for another character like Xiao or even Ganyu, which are said to be a DPS main. I don't know, up to you. So with that out of the way, let's just get started with the good. So, the good of him, he's a very tanky slash versatile character. He's very versatile in builds and how you can play him. He can be a main DPS. He can be a assist slash support. By assist, I mean he can help other the team with petrification and doing additional deal damage over time. If you were to have a Ningguang as your main DPS, you can use him as an assist. Or you can use him as an ult spammer, which also works pretty well. But that's if you go for a geo damage bonus build. Currently, I am using him as a physical damage bonus build. These are his stats right now.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
I know they're not the best, and I'm still trying to work on his artifacts still, but this is his artifacts right now. Yeah, they're not the best, but I'll work around with them eventually. No constellations, as you can see. And I like how he feels, the playstyle, his auto attacks feel so fluid. I really like how he attacks. He can be fun when you have a character like Fish or any caster. You can actually put this down and you can use any character to get on top of it and you'll be safe from most attacks. It's a fun experience. You should try it if you do have this character. Or try with your friend to see how it feels. You can even do this in co-op mode. As long they have the aggro, you don't. There will be some enemies that can hit you from range, so keep that in mind. But it's still a funny one. Just worth mentioning. Other than that, I just love this character in general. Like, I do not regret whatsoever in getting this character. But I'll save that for the very end of the video. Now, let's just go straight into the bad. The bad is that this character was definitely nerfed. He was nerfed when he came out. I believe his auto attack used to do more. So I feel his auto attack got nerfed. But I will talk about that much later in the ugly section. But I'm just gonna say the bad part. So you want to make him a DPS main. He's not the best main DPS. He can work, but he's just not the best. His shield has a very long cast time, like a 1 second cast time. So you have to be careful when you do it, especially against high level enemies. And lastly, they did nerf this thing, his ulti. The only nerf he got was the two of the seconds got removed. They reduced the second by Ugh, me and my English. They removed two, I think down, let's just say from 5.6 seconds down to 3.6 seconds. Right, basically they removed 2 of the seconds. There. Jeez, what's wrong with my English? Anyways. And they also removed a very important thing that made this ability sought after when we first heard in leaks. And that was the increased damage, physical and geo damage against petrified enemies. It's not here. Why did they did it? I don't know. Probably thought in the testing servers was probably too busted. I think what we can find, I think they should just lower the values. But that's just really about it. But now let's get it. Let's just go straight to the ugly. So the ugly. Let's go straight to this ability, shall we? So look at this numbers values, right? And look at someone like Zhongli, who has talent level 2, level 50. Huh. This is a 4-star free-to-play character. Talent level 2 versus talent level 6, yet she, from what we see here, it does way more damage. Yikes. That's not good. That's just not good. Another ugly part is that the press ability, it's very, it's buggy, where, like, you do not get energy when you do the press ability. You only get energy when you do the holding casting. But I guess another part of the, I guess I should put it here, from the, instead of bad, I should put in the ugly, is that the casting time is pretty slow. It is absolutely slow. It takes like an actual second. The animation can be all flashy and everything.
Gather.
But it's pretty slow, especially it's bad in higher like content where you're like survival. You have to be very evasive or not take as much hits as possible or whatever. You have to be careful when you do this too. There are times you can get CC'd, which I have been CC'd before, and been trying to activate this ability. I just, I get cancelled out. Then you have to do your characters.
Osmanthus wine.
Sorry, Zhongli. I'll let you talk later, Daddy. When you have to geo characters, it does reduce the CC effects, but there are times you still get CC nonetheless. So, don't rely too much on the geo bonus. Another thing is because he's also a geo character. He's from the geo, so it's not really the best element in the game. I feel geo needs a buff. Yeah. Especially when we look at the... I'm sure many of you know by now. The element of resonance. This is what they get. Increased resistance to interruption when protected by shield, increases attack damage by 15%. That seems okay, but let's be honest. We're looking at this one here, affected by cryo 4% less, mostly the increased attack by 25%. That's why Pyro is so powerful right now. It's one of the meta elements because of that. They have one of the best elements of resonance in the game. Hydro, it's okay for healing, it's pretty strong, but to be honest, healing... Honestly, having a dedicated healer like Noelle, Barbara, any healer can work fine. You don't really need this, it's just overkilling. Wind is okay, Electro's actually pretty good too, that's probably the second best one. And the Ice one will be good in the future, most likely. Yeah, but it's not really best. It's not as good as the Pyro. It's not really good. Now, I'm gonna compare the time, the DPS, I guess, between these two. Zhongli versus Jianling against Ruin Guards. And then give my final thoughts on it. So, I'll see you there. Okay. We're here. We're gonna fight this thing. I think he's level 80, I think. Not sure. We'll see, but the point is to see how he does in damage. And then we'll find another Ruin Guard and put up Zhongli. 75.
Leave it all to me.
Dodge this! Dodge this. Stabilize. This is order.
Oops.
I must leave no
That's fine.
Gather.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna go find another one. And I'm gonna use Zhongli. I'm gonna use her. Next one. Okay. I'm here. Now, to make things fair, I'm using the same artifacts. I switched up the artifacts of Zhongli to this character. She has retracting bow life, but just to make things fair in DPS comparison, I'm gonna be doing this. So yeah, just to make things fair. And she's a level 50 Zhongli. Talent's at level 2. But as we see here, the values are higher. Same team comp. We're gonna go get there. Oh, and one more thing, I forgot to say earlier, that Noel's and Zhongli's shields do not stack. Only one shield works at a time. Keep that in mind. Whenever you have this both combined, so they don't work well with each other. They do, but you better make sure you don't put their shields together.
leave it. Odds revealed.
Cool it.
Nice and spiked.
So sorry. Dodge this.
Odds revealed.
Okay, I'm gonna take the timing. I'll be right back. So I'm gonna be taking the timing. Alright, I'm back. So, the way I did the timing, if I only know how to record, but in case you don't believe me, you can just simply go back to the time where each of them, like, the moment they took damage, that's where I took the I started the timer. So, but I did the results anyways, but in case you do not believe me, any of you don't believe me, you can just go back in each of them, and the moment you see the damage, and just make your own timer there, and see what stats you get. But anyways, this is the result I got. So, Zhongli, it took him 1 minute and 3 seconds. Whereas Xianling, it only took her 52 seconds. Not only she had a bit of a higher damage, I'm sure Zhongli did a bit more physical damage, but the problem was the combination. Because she was a pyro and she was actually combining with Kaya on the melt procs, it was doing good damage. Not to mention that little bear, a panda bear, and the burb combined does a lot of overload damage. Pretty also good on top of super conduct, helping her do more damage. So that was unfortunate that Zhongli got a DPS, and I know that there was a time where Zhongli had to have to avoid getting hit by those spin to win attack. As where Xiaolin, she didn't even went through that whatsoever. She was just DPSing the whole time, most of the time. Where Xiaolin he had to stop DPSing for like, I guess we can you can go back as well and take the time. Like if you just skip that part, like don't count the time where I'm not DPSing. We're doing 360 thing, but you know. I'm just taking it in a scenario, but the point is that Zhongli, a level 80 character to 10 level 6, he's either got DPS or he's on par with Jianling, level 2 talent Jianling at level 50, Ascension 2. That's a still big loss for Zhongli nonetheless. So, I'm just gonna say this, my final thoughts. For those who are trying to pull Zhongli and want a spear user as the main DPS, just stick with Zhongli. She works fine, she's free to play, she does better than Zhongli. Now, if you're the kind of player who just likes to play a character based on how they look, and you still make your DPS regardlessly, then sure, keep them. Play with them all you want. Because that's what I'm doing too. I love this character so much, I do not regret my choices. I'm sticking with him. I don't follow the meta whatsoever, or this tier list, whatever. Like, every time I see a tier list of Noelle, like how she's like in the bottom tier, but for me, she's being a very wonderful character. She's always been wonderful. So that's one I do not take whatsoever. But, I will say though that Zhongli needs buffs. I will admit that he needs buffs. Noelle does not need buffs. I think she's fine. You know, like she's being seen as a bottom tier character. When people are, I don't think people are building her much, really. I don't know. Probably just because she's probably an active healer. Whereas Chi-Chi and Barbara, they're more like, oh, you can just activate the heal and switch back to another character and they get the heal. But that's just them. I kind of like being active, so it's whatever. And let's be honest, I don't like Barbara. I'd much rather have another healer, which thankfully I got a Jean. But that'll be for another video. Once I do have the ability to work on her. And I also want to talk about Klee as well, but in another future. It will be a good one. But anyways. So, that's all I really have to say for Zhongli. Yeah, and sorry it's a bit of a long video and anything, but I just wanted to like come out and give my first impression and thoughts on Zhongli. He is indeed a very underwhelming character, but despite all that, I still love the character. I will still play him nonetheless, because that's how dedicated I am. And like in any other game, I just have a thing for playing underwhelming characters for some reason. That's just me, really. Nonetheless, though, this is just as be my experience. Play whatever you feel like you enjoy the most with. Stick to your true self. Play if you're more of a player who wants to be as optimal as possible, then you do you. Save your gems for another character. Don't waste them on Zhongli. So, you all have a wonderful night or a day. Alright, just